This is the Novelty Podcast. Welcome one, welcome all to the Novelty Podcast. My name is Terrell. What's up, novel ones? Been on my TV binge. The TV binge is over. It's time to get back to the movies. I get it. Like I think TVs really bring the best out of me. But movies is my passion, man. They just come out so slow. No, I don't. I can't believe I almost said that. They're giving us a shitload of movies. I guess I don't need more movies. But at the same time, man, some of these releases is just spread too far apart. But this has been a great year for movies. Well, it's been a great year for the work rate of movies. I can say that much. I'm not gonna say it's been the greatest year of movies. Shit, I think I've been going like out of every 4 movies, I'm probably enjoying one. But I think that's the nature of the business, right? So I just want to give a shout out to all of the fans. I am trying to expand this brand, putting a lot more energy into the YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel. Just put in Novelty in the search engine. You'll see me start coming up. I got them labeled under Better Late Reviews because look. The truth is I'm always be late on reviews. It take a while, and the way my setup works out, it's gonna always be a little delay. My work rate is always gonna be a little retarded. So with that being said, Better Late Reviews is constantly being posted. I have posted the Spider-Man Better Late Review. I have posted the Midsommar Better Late Review. 2 movies we'll talk about in depth coming up. Got a lot to say about these movies, but it's really tough because I do want to keep it spoiler free. I thought about doing a spoiler room for Spider-Man because, you know, those Marvel movies always leave you with a lot to talk about. I don't know. Still thinking about it. Let you know by the end of the podcast. Play it by ear, huh? Let's get into the front page. I worry, right? This mic I have pick up everything, and I worry because sometimes when I'm flipping the page, and I got a sound effect when I flip the page, I'm like I might not need it. I can just flip the real goddamn page. But anyway, Hollywood's done it. Hollywood has got us in an uproar. When I say Hollywood, I mean Disney. And don't get it confused. Disney is Hollywood. They run the damn thing. Look at the numbers. Look at the damn numbers. Look at the projected numbers for Lion King. Lion King cartoon is still the 5th highest grossing animated feature of all time. It came out like 25 years ago. And now they're going to re-release it with new everything. Modernized everything. Basically modernized actors, right? All of the current, black entertainers that's at the top of their game is in Lion King. Beyonce's going to kill that shit, man. It's going to be crazy. Wouldn't it be crazy if Beyonce got a damn Oscar? It could happen. But they got a black Little Mermaid, so they did it. Hollywood, I gotta stop calling them Hollywood. Disney did it. So sometimes you gotta shake shit up. Disney's shaking shit up by making a black mermaid. That's basically canceling out the ginger mermaid, the redhead mermaid. And hey, Hollywood's in an uproar. So let's be honest here. Now, my philosophy gets me in a lot of trouble. Basically, I have a very laissez-faire philosophy. I'm all about fairness. But some people they take it to a different point. They're more about pride and tradition and history and all of that crap. I don't get into all of that. So with that being said, understand as I talk about this, I'm coming from a very, very neutral perspective. I'm coming from an analytical perspective. I don't really care about any of it. Black people are the ones who had a hat in the ring this time. But the same thing happened with Asian culture over and over again. When they're putting white people in their iconic roles. Black people don't care about that, right? It had nothing to do with us. But Asians don't like it. Asians always storm the box office when you try to whitewash one of their heroes. So now, we're mad that white people are mad. I can't get any of the logic of it. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I'm one person. I'm a little too liberal sometimes. But how in the hell is it going to affect the movie? How will they have to change Ariel's origin story? If they will at all. I'm way more interested in the movie aspect of this. I could give a shit less about who's casted as who. No matter what happens, when you start taking away iconic figures from a culture, it's going to always be backlash and uproar. Me, I'm over it. I don't give a shit. But at the same damn time, I'm way more concerned about how this will affect the story. I'm way more concerned about how this will affect the critical reception. And don't, I'm trying to tell you, I've warned you. Don't think that I'm worried about if people will not like it because it's a black lead. I'm concerned about people liking it because it's a black lead. If you really look at critical responses to a lot of things, people really tread softly when it comes down to black productions. Do it all of the time. Lena Waithe, the creator of The Shot, came out very critical of the black reception that happens with well, not the black reception, the critical reception that happens with black productions. That's way more what I'm concerned about. I'm way more concerned about those white critics who are looking at Little Mermaid and like, oh, I'm not touching that. It's an A. 100%. They did it with Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele's Us is still sitting at a 94%. I will bitch about that till it changes. That's way more what I'm worried about. I'm way more worried about the discrimination that happens because I believe it's a form of discrimination. If you say, oh, no, those black folks, hey, it was great. You're hurting the art. Way more concerned about that. I'm not concerned about what the fans are squabbling about. It's petty shit in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, I just hope that Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry. I'm just hoping Halle Bailey is talented enough. Because more than likely, she got this role based on her singing capabilities. She's a singer. She's a product of the Disney machine. If people are up here thinking that Disney is just some type of civil rights proponents, maybe they are. But if you're thinking that, you could be mistaken. But Disney is a machine. They have a farm system. A system where they're training their young stars up. Of course, somebody from the Disney tree is going to be the chosen one to play Ariel or Ariel. What is her name? What is her goddamn name? I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big Little Mermaid fan. I resent having to even talk about it. But it's somewhere along the line it became a race issue. I'm more concerned about the race issue that happens after this thing is released. Hopefully it's actually good. Hopefully it's actually 100%. But this is business. This is business. I'm really surprised that people are getting so emotionally invested in this when it's a business decision on Disney's end. Cash in on it. The industry changed after Black Panther. Now they know that black people can bring in the bucks. Now they know it.
Straight to the bank, baby.
This is what I asked, though. Hollywood, Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, IMDb. Judge this thing for what it is. Don't try to make this some type of iconic movement. Don't try to make this some civil rights issue. Because then you're cheating. Trying to make this movie more than what it is. Because it's a black lead. I am a fan of movies. I put movies over everything. I put movie over race. I put movies over age. I put movies over everything. I look completely, not completely, I got my biases. I look as clear-minded as I can. So what I ask is, make good movies, not black movies. Don't make movies that you think will appeal to blacks. Don't cast leads because you want that Black Panther money. Make a good damn story. Make a good damn movie. You change something major about your lead character, so you may have to tinker with the story a little bit. But stay true to the story. I don't even know what range you would need to play Ariel. I don't know if I'm butchering this damn mermaid's name or not. I don't know what range you would need to play her. Again, I'm not a fan of this shit. But just write a goddamn story that works. If you gotta stick with the original, which they probably will, stick with the original. When it comes down to acting range, though, I'm way more concerned who plays Ursula. But now they're squabbling about that, trying to get Queen Latifah to play Ursula. Why would you do that? Did you see Queen Latifah singing on Star? Do you really want her on this shit? Melissa McCartney would be a great pick. But hopefully she's not singing either. But Ursula is kind of the role she was born for. I don't know what weight she at right now. She might have to gain weight for the part. I'm always nervous when actors have to do that. She looked real skinny in the last joint that I seen. The one she had for her Oscar run last year. She looked a little small. She might have to gain that weight back. But nowadays, they might be able to fucking CGI some weight onto her. But I'm look. I may have brought this up like I had a take. I really don't have a take on this. I don't give a shit about who plays what character. I really don't. I care about story. Don't fuck up the Little Mermaid story, Disney. But they won't. Disney got a formula that's going to work again. God, man. Lion King is about to make so much money. Hi, you had not. Okay. Speaking of Lion King is going to be 29 minutes longer than the original. Y'all know what that mean? That mean they about to be on some Empire shit. When it this got to be a whole goddamn soundtrack. You know how Empire come out with an album for every season? That's coming. We about to get a Lion King album. We about to lose our shit. 29 minutes. But people, that's all music. You know it's all music. So it's going to be 29 minutes longer than the original, which we don't need. The story was fucking perfect. So you know that's all they did. Added in a couple more musical numbers that they just couldn't leave on the cutting room floor. And I hope that's not what fucking ruins it. We already got the risk of them making them look like real animals. Look, we like the cartoon because they didn't look like animals. I talked about this in another podcast. Look, we don't want ugly ass animals. We don't want them to be talking to us.
Help me.
In general. Somebody might want the shit.
Help me.
But we don't want that. We like them when they look like cartoons. When they look like they were based on lions and based on hyenas. But now they like fucking real hyenas. Cracking jokes and shit. You ever watch the Discovery Channel and watch those hyenas? They really act like that. Fucking laughing and shit while they fucking trying to take a tiger's leg off. Anyway, that makes me nervous for Lion King. To know it's 29 minutes longer. I don't know if they need new musical scores. You know that Aladdin movie was great, but one of the downsides was the stuff that they tried to add. So it's gonna be a little risky, but we'll see. Sylvester Stallone is he's pretty I don't know which side he's on now, because he's been pretty non-committal about Expendables 4. He kind of washed his hands of the project, especially after the bomb of the last one. He stepped it up when it came to the ensemble. He added more names, adding Harrison Ford and Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's a great bad guy, by the way. Maybe because he's an actual bad guy. But he washed his hands of Sylvester Stallone. He washed his hands of Expendables. But now he's on Instagram saying that he's feeling inspired to work on the next script. It's funny, like, I don't know, can he just bring over the next script from Rambo? What's really the difference between Rambo and the Expendables? Like, is it a difference? I think I'd like to see Rambo versus the Expendables. Wouldn't that be insane? No, probably not. No! Probably not. Got Jason Statham roundhousing tops off of bottle caps. He might be able to beat up Rambo's old ass. Maybe, I don't know. So that's Stallone signed a deal with the I forget the name of that company, but he signed a deal with an Asian company. So he's going to be trying to turn out these movies. So it's a really good chance that he's telling the truth about starting his script, because he has an obligation to fulfill. He's making sequels though. The Rambo movie is that escape plan movie that he just releases under that umbrella of that production company. I'm sorry, y'all. I do not want to go Google the damn name. I just don't care enough. But yeah. So whoever's Expendables fans, get ready for another one. I wonder who's gonna be in the next one. I really like the cast that they get, but I wish they would fucking drop Terry Crews. Did they watch America's Got Talent? He's not fucking tough. He's not expendable. Jesus. Netflix is cutting down on their budget. Look, podcast after podcast. Podcast after podcast, I'm up here talking about how Netflix spend the money. They don't bend on the budget. That's all I ever say. Well, guess what? Final Frontier cost them $115 million to make. Jesus. Nobody watched that shit. And then the people who watched it, they panned it. I think it made like 15 million or maybe way less than that. But they lost, anyway, I think it made more than that. I think they lost about 85 million on Final Frontier. So that's what happens, man, when you think that Ben Affleck can draw. Ben Affleck has never been that kind of a draw. Batista signed on for Doom. So I'm really on the fence about ensemble movies, right? Me and my guy talk about this all the time. How the ensemble movies, they're mostly bad. But I've been thinking, sometimes it can work. Sometimes it could work. And then you got, I don't know, sometimes if it's an ensemble or not is debatable. Of course, you got those terrible fucking movies, right? You got Once Upon a Time in Mexico. You got Planet Terror. You got Get Shorty. You got Haywire. You got Contagion. You got those movies that, they can be really bad and more people just kind of clout the fucking thing. That happened with The Dead Don't Die, that recent Bill Murray flick, where you get so many characters and you try to focus on way too much. But then I thought about the fact that sometimes it works. Now, I don't know if they can make it work now. The closest we got to that working in these times is The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight worked. But there was a time, up until maybe 2015, where people knew how to make ensemble movies. Maybe that could come back. This is art. Movies and music is art. And art has renaissance. It always has renaissance every so often. You look at movies, some of the classics like The Untouchables, the Lord of the Rings franchise, these are all ensembles. Heat, Traffic, Pulp Fiction, these are great movies. These are all working. Ocean's 11, Saving Private Ryan, Tropic Thunder, Black Hawk Down, Reservoir Dogs. All these movies work with ensembles. Did you notice something? Out of all of those movies, especially the ones that I said work, you can tell which ones work. But the only sci-fi joint in there is Lord of the Rings. Sci-fi has the most trouble with ensembles. Dramas seem to have a shot, especially the cop dramas, like The Departed. Those have a shot. This isn't the crime drama. But they got all of the hottest names. Just signed Batista, and I think they're going to keep signing names. Zendaya's already a part of this. Jason Momoa is already a part of this. Josh Brolin is already a part of this. Oscar Isaac is already a part of this. Javier Bardem is a part of this. This is a crazy cast. Just all great actors except Jason Momoa. But he'll be in his element though. He's a great wild man. He's a great savage. But I'm nervous for Doom. The more people they add, the more nervous I might get. Because you can't make an ensemble work. But for these sci-fi movies, man, it's tough. Get nervous for Doom. But we'll see. I'll be waiting. The Disney Milan trailer is coming, so that's cool. I won't dare say the lead's name. I'll have to research it. The movie's not coming out till March 20th, but they got the first trailer done, and they got all of that stuff done. I don't know why they waiting so damn long to release that. It's directed by Nikki Caro. She's cool, I guess. I'm bored with this shit. So it's nothing stranger than when an actor is out here desperately trying to get a job. Especially when that actor already got a job. Terry Crews constantly finds jobs. People love him. He got friends in high places or some shit like that. But he's never just sitting on his couch at home. Right now he's hosting America's Got Talent. That's a great fucking gig. But he's going around the circuits. He's going around the media circuits and teasing of white chicks too. Saying that it's happening. Saying it's happening because he tried to pressure one of the Wayans brothers into making it happen. And it didn't even happen then. Marlon Wayans had to come out and vehemently deny it. He tell you it's just no deal in place. What's with White Chicks too, y'all? What the fuck? Why is it a demand for this shit? I get it, it's a cult classic. But sometimes cult classics can stay cult classics. Do you really think the second will be good? Did you think that the second How High would be good? This isn't going to be good. Why do we want this? And why does Terry Crews want to flirt with a Wayne's brother with a wig on all day? It's fucking weird. And we don't need it. Terry Crews, stay where you are. Keep hosting. I think he's a horrible host. But keep hosting. That's good money. Consistent. Do that. So Flash is back in production. So I put this on here because I'm so damn curious about what the hell DC is doing. I have no idea what DC is doing. Not gonna lie. Ezra Miller, the same Flash from the Justice League movie, is still signed on, and he's taking over the writing. Not taking over, but he's partnering up with the writer, and he's gonna work on the script, and apparently try to make it darker than the script that was approved. But this is my thing, man. You got Wonder Woman coming out next year. But Superman is up in the air. We still have to establish the next Batman. And it's looking like the villain from there is going to be Two-Face. So we don't know what age he's going to be. Based on the Batman that we already had established. It's just a fucking mess. The DC universe is a mess when it comes down to the cinema side. The DC app is great. They're doing great things over there on the small screen. But on the big screen, I don't know what the plan is. I really don't. They need to be putting all their energy into Henry Cavill. But apparently, he signed on or something? I don't know. I'm hearing they're working on a new movie, but I'm also hearing WB passed on the fucking script that they had. So, Flash news is cool. Wonder Woman news is cool. Batman news is cool. But you already made a Justice League movie. Find some damn continuity, DC. Jesus Christ. That's it for the front page. Let's get into the next best.
The future.
The next best is the most anticipated movies coming up now. Number 5 is kind of like, I don't know. Number 5 is kind of, I guess it's about timing, really. It was movies that was coming out sooner, but, you know, they weren't good as this could be. But I got a really bad feeling about this one. Number 5 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a Quentin Tarantino film. I talked about this already. I'm not excited about this, but the trailers aren't telling us anything. We don't know what the hell this movie is about. If it's just a movie, you know, about an actor and, you know, his life, I'm going to be vehemently against it. But they might be hotting, you know, that vintage Quentin Tarantino violence. I don't know what the theme of this could be. I don't know, but I'm going to trust Quentin Tarantino. It's dropping July 26th. Look out for it. I don't know. It's really hard to make a next best. There's so much stuff coming out in August. Like, I could have said something from August, but I'm talking about some stuff that's really recent. It's coming to us right now.
The future.
Number 4 is The Art of Self-Defense. That's a movie with Jesse Eisenberg. I don't know. I kept mistaking him for Michael Cera when I first seen this thing. But he's cool or whatever. He's a much better actor than Michael Cera. But I don't know why I confused those two. They're not the same actors all the way. But Jesse Eisenberg is starring in The Art of Self-Defense. Just about a dude who, you know, he got bullied. He wanted to get stronger. He got stronger, and it got all kind of bullshit started for him. It looks interesting. It's one of those, you know, it's one of those offbeat comedies. I don't know. You really got to kind of get the humor, but it could be worth something. This thing isn't gonna make a dime. It's not gonna make a lot of money at all. I don't know what type of draw Jesse Eisenberg is, but got big bucks on this, doing a face plant when it comes down to the bank. But doesn't always mean the end of it. If it's a good movie, it could get a second life on streaming, DVD, maybe Netflix or Hulu. Something could happen. But The Art of Self-Defense is number 4 on the next best.
The future.
Number 3 is Crawl. Now, I'm not feeling good about Crawl either, but they do have a shot. I really like the closed movies when it doesn't take place in a lot of locations. I think that's how you maximize on your story, you maximize on your characters. They're doing that with Crawl. They got a producer, the guy Sam Raimi, the producer of Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is very abstract, it's very weird, but the story is always intact. Their execution of that story is where, you kind of question some stuff. But this is about, a hurricane that unleashes alligators on a small family. Hey, that's very easy. It's hard to mess that up. So hopefully it's just a decent thrill ride. These can be good. So I don't know. I'm kind of in the air about it. Critically wise, I'm sorry, y'all probably can tell how weak of a next best this is, but sometimes I'm in this weird position, man, where I got to work with mediocrity or shit. But Crawl could be good. We're mediocre. Number 2 is Stuber. Now, I'm actually excited about Stuber. That's something I actually would think be good. I actually think it will be good. And, hey, I really like when Batista can play off the right people. We see this work in the Marvel movies all the time. He's hilarious as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. We see it work all of the time. I seen him in What We Do in the Shadows in the recent season. He was funny in that too. So if you know what to do with Batista, he can work for you. Kamal Nanjiani is growing on me every project I see him in. I thought he was okay. I thought he was kind of funny. I wasn't impressed by his stand-up. And then, I just constantly was never impressed by the dude. And then he did that Twilight Zone episode, and I was not impressed again. But after that, the dude has just been bringing it. And I enjoyed him in the last 3 projects I've seen him in. And I think that he's really starting to find his lane as a comedian, what works for him, because I think Stuber is going to work in a major way, and it's number 2 on the next best.
The future.
Number 1 is Hi, what not? Okay, fuck, I just can't help but sing it. Look, I know y'all might think that this is staged, but every time I think of this fucking movie, that's what popped in my head. Elton John, this happens every time. This thing is loaded when it comes down to the cast. So not all of these people in here are like great singers. You got like great actors, and you got great voice actors, and you got great singers. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if the great singers is gonna kind of carry things. I don't know if the actors are gonna be using, if they're gonna get help with their voices. Like, Donald Glover can actually sing. Now I don't know if he can sing on a all-time level like you would have to do if you're singing in a Disney movie, but maybe he got it. I like the range that I see. I like what I hear. I love a lot of Childish Gambino's music, so he could pull it off. Joe Rogan is in here now. Hey, he won't have to do much singing because Pumbaa couldn't sing for shit. Shetanel Ejiofor, I think I'm saying that right. He got a Nigerian name. These names are a mouthful. I really like him though. I liked him in Four Brothers. Four Brothers wasn't that good of a movie, but he shined in it. It was fucking amazing. But I never heard him sing. I think that's probably gonna be a nightmare. But as I think about it, like Scar didn't sound that great. You just liked what the fuck he was talking about. I love that Be Prepared thing. It was the best villain song I ever seen. It might have made me as evil as I am today. John Oliver. Fucking Beyonce, man. Beyonce is about to kill this shit, man. She's about to kill it. She's about to kill it because she's hands down the best singer here. She's like 5 times better than the best singer in here. It's like, what the hell? It's gonna be the Beyonce show. This is about to be a big year for Beyonce. A big year. And I don't even think she released the album. Did she release the album? It's about to be a big year for her, though. She keeps this shit up. James Earl Jones, of course, had to come back. You can't replace him. He's unreplaceable. But luckily, he doesn't have to sing. All he has to do is fucking die and make everybody cry again. Danny Glover, though. I hope he don't have a lot of lines. But yeah, so Lion King is gonna, destroy every fucking thing. It's gonna be Avengers-esque. It's this theater I go to. It's alright. I never see it too crowded, but I left the goddamn theater after seeing Avengers and it was packed. I think that same thing is gonna happen with Lion King. This thing is gonna break the bank, of course, and I think it's gonna be great. I really do. But I got this really creepy feeling that the original will be better. But this is a cash grab, and they're doing it. That's it for the next best. But I'm telling you, I think that my next best will be better because I think that late July and early August got some very interesting movies coming up. But for now, the biggest director we got coming up is Quentin Tarantino, and that's not to the 26th of July. And Jon Favreau, and he hasn't done anything great since Iron Man. But I liked him in Spider-Man: Far From Home. I think that's a good role for him. But anyway, I digress. I didn't name it. I didn't name my next segment. I'm going to name it right here, right now. I'm going to call it Couch Potato. Or I called it Couch Potato, but I don't know. It kind of sucks. So I want to talk about 3 things that's coming to streaming. I won't dramatize it. I'll just fucking tell you because I didn't prepare this segment right. I think I was on the fence about it. But Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix. Check that out. It's a really great movie. That I just started doing movie reviews, but I think about some of my favorites that I've seen this year or last year and this year, and I really wish that I could have reviewed Into the Spider-Verse. It's a really good movie. It's a really sweet movie. It's a really sincere movie, and it's a really fun movie. It's really fun. They really have fun with the ridiculous premise that this thing has, and I love it. Also, you got Little Woods. Little Woods is starring Tessa Thompson and Lily James. Directed by the first-time director of a feature film, Nia DeScosa. This is a drama. It's kind of not landing well with critics, but these type of things, the critics might not like it, but sometimes they don't like it because of technical reasons, where the story is just kind of missing some gaps. But sometimes a good performance can outshine that. Maybe that's what would have happened. This is probably Tessa Thompson's Oscar bait movie. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out if you like gritty street dramas starring 2 women. Number 1 is Shazam. Number 1. I thought it was going to be a countdown. I know the segment is a mess. I know. Shit. My bad. But Shazam is also streaming, starring Zach Levy. It's a really cool movie. It's a cool movie. It's a fun movie. Hey, it's another sweet movie. A lot of these comic book movies, the themes that they hit on can be really, really sweet, just really endearing. And sometimes you need that. They help with a bad day sometimes. So you got Shazam. That's also streaming on Amazon Prime. Coming out to DVD in a couple weeks now. So if that's what you're into, if you still buy DVDs, that's happening. So the movie industry seems to be about timing, right? That timing is very important for movie executives. It's very important for actors too. Sometimes an actor is just killing it with the right timing. I want to acknowledge a couple actors who I just think is on fire right now. I want to call it the actor factor. Can't think of a sound effect for it because it sounds so fucking silly. But I want to talk about the top 5 hottest actors right now in the actor factor. In the actor factor. Might as well call it the actor factory. Ain't that what you're hearing? No, it's just what I'm hearing. Number 5 is Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal was in Spider-Man: Far From Home, and man, he was great. Look, sometimes you can hit or miss with the villain. Sometimes the villain can bring your whole movie down. We've seen this happen with a couple of Spider-Man movies. I really liked him in Spider-Man. He also was in Velvet Buzzsaw, which was a fucking mess, and it kind of bombed. But at the same time, the dude is just so damn good. He's always making projects. So I put him at number 5 because even though he's not making the bank that the rest of these actors is making, when you got somebody who comes out on a movie like Spider-Man, people seeing his face again, getting reminded about Jake Gyllenhaal and how good he can be. Some of the future projects that he comes out with could get a better buzz. So I'm putting him at number 5 because he can finish this year really, really strong, and I'm kind of hoping it to happen. He's one of my favorite actors, and he's number 5 on the actor factor. I swear I'm gonna change that name, I promise. But for now, I'm gonna roll with that. Number 4 is Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson is on fire. She's on fire because she keeps dousing herself in gasoline. She is signing up for everything. And not only on the movie side, but on the television show side. She still has obligations to television shows. Television shows is what she kind of came up on. But at the same time, Tessa Thompson doesn't say no to a script. She might go by that Samuel L. Jackson philosophy where she don't say no. But if you rack up what she did this year, her appearance in Endgame, it might be international, which was bad, but it still made its money. Look, international sales can really save a movie. It happens a lot. And then she's going to be in Lady and the Tramp later. I don't know how good that's going to do, especially domestically. Disney's going all out on their remakes. They're trying to remake all their properties, get every piece of cash they can. They're going to miss sometimes. They missed with Dumbo, and they'll probably miss with Lady and the Tramp. We'll see what happens when the trailer comes out, if it's getting any kind of buzz and if anything changes, but more than likely, it's going to fail. This is probably going to fail. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, Tessa Thompson last year, the project she was in racked up a total of $3.3 billion. Yes, $3.3 billion, but that's because she was in Avengers with a couple of lines. But at the same time, the stuff she's in, hey, she's making bank. She's making a lot for Hollywood, and she's number 4 on the actor factor. Number 3 is Samuel L. Jackson for a lot of the same reason. Look, he's still making money. Samuel Jackson can draw, but Samuel Jackson, I just mentioned it, like a long time ago, he said that he just doesn't say no to a script. I don't know how well that aged. I don't know if he does that now. It's way too many scripts being produced. He has to say no to some of the shit that's out here. But last year he also racked up more than $3 billion at the box office. But I'm kind of selling him short here because Shaft didn't make any money. I think Shaft is around 20 million right now, but Glass made about 266 million. And then you got Captain Marvel that made its money, so he's well over 3.5 billion dollars last year. So Samuel Jackson, because of the Marvel movies, he just never stops being visible. And when he's not being visible, he can just do whatever the hell he wants. Samuel Jackson is not out here doing art house films. He's not the and credit on any project. He's doing what the hell he wants. And he's number 3 on the actor factor.
That's high.
Number 2 is Tom Hanks. Now, Tom Hanks is basically getting this because he's Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks will always draw, unless he try to make some of those, those family-friendly movies. But Tom Hanks will always draw. Toy Story 4 made bank this year. Looking at so far, it's made $547 million. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought it would do a little better, but I'm starting to see where these kids' movies is falling. I think that Onward was probably going to make the same. Probably the same. Probably not. I'm thinking Onward will come out and make about 300 million, 400 million. But at least Onward is new, and you got new chances at merchandising and stuff like that. Toy Story 4 might have run its course. This might be the last of what it can bank, but at the end of the day, put Tom Hanks back at the forefront of America. And Tom Hanks is also currently in production of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. That's right, he's gonna play Mr. Rogers. This could set him apart. It's these type of roles that set actors apart. We seen it with Denzel Washington when he played Malcolm X. We seen it with Gary Oldman when he played what president? Woodrow Wilson. Not Woodrow Wilson. Winston Churchill. These roles can set people apart. If it makes some money, this will be a colossal year for Tom Hanks.
That's hot.
Number 1 is Tom Holland because the dude is just simply on fire. Now, he's also ranking more than $3 billion, mostly because of the Avengers Endgame franchise, but he also had the Spider-Man release. That's going to keep doing numbers. When it comes down to the movies, he's killing it. He's also got the Will Smith cartoon, Spies in Disguise. He's also starring in Onward, and he's also attached to Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Dolittle that's going to be coming up. This dude is on fire. He got all kind of other releases that he's coming up with. I don't know how soon they'll come in, so I won't really discuss them. I know Spies in Disguise animation is coming this year. Onward is coming in 2020. Dr. Dolittle is coming in 2020. Tom Holland is definitely the hottest actor of the year, and it may continue into next year, especially if we get another Spider-Man movie. Not really sure they long-term plans for the Avengers. They put out these releases of their upcoming movies, but then these things happen with production, and you don't know what the hell is going to drop when. So I won't make any promises of how long he'll stay on top, but damn it, Tom Holland can't be stopped right now. Whatever he released, people are going to go see. He's going to become iconic because he's too damn good of a Spider-Man, and he's number one on the actor factor.
That's hot.
So I'm critical, man. I'm critical. Everybody, I get the hater thing all of the fucking time. I get the hater thing all of the time. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say sometimes I don't earn it because I'm just not afraid to not like some shit. So sometimes that backfires. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't like it because I'm not scared to not like it. But sometimes it's not that bad. You know how some stuff, it grows in value and, you change your mind. Me, I'm not allowed to change my mind. When I change my mind, it's a big win for everybody. But I'm human. I change my mind. So I call this the icebox. This is where I come into the icebox and I had some time to cool off and I want to revisit some movies that I said were shit. So here's the 5. Number 5 is MIB International. And after a little time in the icebox, this movie is still a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit. It's just regular bad. It's one of those things that you never watch again. Really disappointed in MIB International. If you feel that I was hard on MIB International, hit me up or not at Novelty Movies. Look, just put Novelty Movies in Google. Find me on something and talk some shit to me. I want to know what the people is thinking. But I still think MIB International is no mas. Number 4, Dark Phoenix. After some time in the icebox, I hate this movie even more. Now, it's done. They're already starting to pull this thing out of theaters. Unlike Aladdin. Aladdin is still making bank. It's almost at $900 million. But they pulling this thing out of theaters. Fox is trying to burn this thing to the ground. It's over. I don't even think that the X-Men franchise can recover. I don't know how good that their new what is it called? Dark Mutants or some shit. They got another movie coming out where they're kind of switching the universe. I don't even know if they're going to be able to survive this. Attaching their name to Dark Phoenix is going to do a lot of damage to them. And after time at the icebox, this is still one of the worst movies of the year. Has some time in the icebox for Anna. Anna is not as bad as it's being received. It's a lot of cool stuff in here. The problem was with editing. The editing will kind of take you out of the story and confuse you, but there's a lot of good in here. The action was insane. Anna is not as bad as I thought. Number 2 is Midsummer. So the director Ari Aster is a very controversial director because you got you put 2 people in the room and you ask one person what do they think of him and he'll be like he's the worst director I've ever seen. Then you ask the next person and he'll say the best director I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know who would be the equivalent to Ari Aster, but his movies define a polarized reception. So Midsummer came out, or Midsummer. I think both terms are kind of correct. I left the theater after seeing Midsummer, and I was dying of laughter because I was embarrassed because as a movie guy, I tell people I'm a movie guy. So when I go to the movies, they're like, oh, I'm going to the movies with the movie guy. I'm going to see a good movie. Well, guess what? That's a fucking myth. It's a myth because there's a 50-50 chance that I go see some trash. So I was embarrassed, man. So what I did, I went home, right? Because I had to do the same thing with Hereditary. I went home and I did some research and we got on YouTube, man, and I was like, trying to find some stuff, and I found a video that kind of made the thing make sense. Because you got a guy who tells stories through symbolism. He'll actually tell stories through symbols that you don't understand, because he'll get other folklore and fictionalize them, and you don't know what's real and what's not. So by the time you're done with it, your fucking head's spinning. But when you understand the language this man speaks, you understand that you're seeing auteur from the fucking future. So with that being said, Midsommar is not as bad as I thought it was. Number 1 is Child's Play. So I got into an interesting debate about Child's Play. Apparently, people feel like Child's Play is good because it's not as bad or corny as the original. The original started a franchise. The original got a remake, 30 years later? 31 years later. I can't compare it to the original. I don't compare anything to the original. It's just not relevant enough for me. What I do know is that I looked at this as an original, and it's an original piece of shit still. Yeah, it was some funny parts. It was like 2 lines that kind of killed me. They were great. But I don't go to a horror movie to see a great punchline. Hell, I don't go to a stand-up comedy show to see a great punchline. I go to see the theme play out. If I go to see a comedian, I want punchlines. I want great punchlines. So if I go to a horror show, I want great horror. I don't want that mess of a fucking story. And I don't want them half-assing their kills. They half-assed all of them. They didn't make sense because they didn't know what the fuck Chucky was all the way. But anyway, Child's Play is definitely as bad as I thought it was, and it belongs in the ice. It belongs in the fucking dregs that I put it in. I'll put it that way. So that's the ice box. I shit on a lot of movies, man. Sometimes I'm overreacting, I'll be honest. But other times, you got this shit. Like Child's Play. Fucking kidding me. Let's get into the power rankings. So, I got this thing called the Novel 5 where I talk about the hottest TV shows out. When you hear power rankings, I'm talking about the hottest movies out. Some good movies out. But at the same time, I think that it's going to get a little stronger. I think that this year is going to finish out a little stronger. But I was really disappointed in May. Kind of disappointed at the beginning of June. But late June and early July, Hollywood really picked up. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about the power rankings, where we rank the Power 5 movies. Number 5 is Midsommar. Midsommar is directed by Ari Aster, the very controversial director who has a style of his own. I only put this here because of the timing, honestly. I put this here because I really am a fan of Ari Aster. Now, this thing made $4 million, right? It made $4 million. It could pick up. Mine picked up really slow. Maybe the same thing that happened for Midsommar. Don't see it happening. But I put this on here because this is a really good movie. I don't know how it's going to really age over time. Movies like this, but they get way more popular over time. Now, Hereditary didn't make that much money either. But it didn't do this bad. Jesus Christ, it didn't do this bad. One of those problems with star power, it wasn't any good draws in this movie, but I like that. I think that Hollywood should be trying to create more stars way more often than they do. But we go for the short bet. We go with what's familiar. So with that being said, Hollywood isn't going to take any chances with these shits. So they don't do this. They don't do where they come up with, these new actors. The lead actor in here was a fucking YouTube singer, so it really hurt him. But Midsommar is a very controversial movie. If you see Midsommar, go to YouTube and put in Midsommar, and some of those movies, not some of the reviews, but some of the videos will be explaining some of the folklore and some of the mythology and some of the religion that influences Ari Aster and influences him to put these type of things in his movies. Because if you don't understand it, you're gonna hate Midsommar, and it's gonna be the worst movie ever. But if you're savvy enough to do the work, this could be a treat. I'll tell you that much. It's kind of creepy as shit too. Number 4 is Aladdin. Now, Aladdin is on here because it's still killing shit. Did you realize that Aladdin had a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes? A 56%. That means that more critics seen it and bombed it some more. Like, critics are really hating Aladdin because they feel like it's a weak story. But that's not why we like Aladdin. Aladdin has never been, the story of stories. But it's a great romance, and it's about classism. I always like stuff about classism. It's something that it could be a big problem amongst us. So a lot of times we mistake racism for classism. I like when movies get the balls to be able to explore stuff like this, and that's what Aladdin did. And this time they explored a little bit more themes. So I'm glad that the audience is loving it. The audience has got it at a 94, and I thank God for that, man, because Hollywood needs this type of stuff. You got Will Smith. You got Mena Massoud, who was a great Aladdin. I really liked him. I don't know what kind of actor he is. I love to see him in other stuff because I couldn't believe that they picked the right Aladdin. It's not an easy thing to cast for when you got somebody's face that's so iconic. I feel the same way about Ursula. It's going to be hard to cast her. Yeah, I really hope they get Melissa McCarthy, though. I mean, Disney got a real interesting format that they do with directors, man. They'll get a big-time director, but those directors, their biggest job is to get the fuck out the way. That's what Guy Ritchie did. They're still making money. They just crossed over the $900 million mark, and it's number 4 on the power rankings. Number 3 is Annabelle Comes Home. Now, I don't know, man. I thought that this thing would get panned. I thought this thing would get panned like Men in Black got panned, but it didn't. It's sitting at a 65%, which isn't good. It's kind of what it deserves. It isn't good, but at the same time, it does have kind of a value. So you got some people who are really into the horror genre. If you're a horror fan, this could really work for you because it's made by a great horror team. And I call them a horror team. It's directed by Gary Doberman, but he's just a writer, basically, and he got promoted to director. But when you see the producer credits, you see James Wan as a producer on here like he always is in this universe. And I think that he has a lot of say over things. Now, again, I'm speculating here. But I think he has a say because you can see a lot of continuity through these different movies where the style is the same. With that being said, James Wan, he really knows what he's doing. He really know how to work up the scares. So if you're a horror fan, this will be good. This thing is making bank. When it's making bank, that means that, the audience has only got it at a 71. But when it's making this kind of bank, that means that a lot of the audience is finding value in it. They're going and telling their friends. Because it's still making money in its third week. Not third week. Yeah, in its third week. So Annabelle Comes Home with the performances with McKenna Grace and Madison Iceman. I thought all the performances was cool. Katie Serafee, she was good. I thought all the performances was cool. But this thing shines in its style. But story, you're not getting much story. But if you're not going for the story, Annabelle Come Home could work for you. And it's number 3 on the power rankings. Number 2 is Toy Story 4, mostly because it's still cleaning up. I really like Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 works because this is a lot like Annabelle Comes Home when I say that, how James Wan was kind of like the brain trust. Well, it's the same way with this with John Lasseter. John Lasseter wrote the first 2 Toy Stories, so he really knows what he's doing. He really cares about these characters, and you can kind of see him do the perfect send-off for these characters in this movie. But he's not the director. The director is Josh Cooley. Josh Cooley is a storyboard writer. It's not even his thing. So for him to make this, this great movie, with this great cast and be able to masterfully, direct these people. That alone is a feat in itself. This thing is still sitting at a 98% on both the critics and audience's side. That's because it's a great movie. Of course, the thing is making bank, made more than $500 million worldwide. I think it's about 546 or something like that. And it's a great movie. If you're waiting on it to come out on DVD or stream it or whatever, that's cool too. But if you're ever bored enough and it's time to go to the movies, again, Toy Story 4 is a good one. Number 1, of course, is Spider-Man Comes Home. Spider-Man Comes Home, the second installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is Spider-Man. Look, this is a really great movie. Some people would say that it's not, but when you consider that Marvel is really setting up the Marvel Universe for the next phase. Marvel Universe, for those who don't know, they set these things up in phases. They'll plan out, 10 movies, or not even 10, maybe like 8 movies, and they'll plan them out and they'll work them in phases as far as their story arcs. They'll have an overarching arc for that phase. So this is the end of that phase. A lot of people thought that it was Avengers. I always argue with people about Endgame because I really didn't think Endgame was that good. I say it all the time. But I talk about it all the time. They talk about how it's a great conclusion. It's a great conclusion to the story. Endgame wasn't the conclusion. Spider-Man is a much better conclusion to the phase. But with that being said, they set up other phases of the. They set up other phases of it. I really like the next movie that they set up as far as Spider-Man. I really can't wait for it. Look, this is a movie. This is a movie that's complete. It's gonna make its dough. It just came out a few days ago. It just came out Tuesday. So I won't talk about too much of the numbers because they did a weird thing by releasing this on a Tuesday and extending the weekend. So I don't know how they're gonna report those numbers. But sitting at a 92% with the critics, 100% with the audience. I mean, everybody is loving it. I think that actually came down. That might be like a 98% now. But hey, Marvel and Sony is doing their thing. Everybody attached to this project is on fire. Watch all of these guys. Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jon Favreau. He directed the new Lion King, so you're gonna be hearing his name more when that's coming out. Spider-Man Far From Home is in the perfect place. It got released at the perfect time. Hollywood severely needed a great movie, and it's the best movie of the summer, one of the best movies of the year, and it's number 1 on the Power Rankings. Really hoping things get stronger, though. I'm really hoping things get stronger when it comes down to the movies. I don't know, man. I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous. I don't think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going to be good. I don't think Crawl is going to be good. Those are 2 major releases, man. But we'll see. We'll see. Because it's a good chance Hobbs and Shaw, it's a good chance that bombs. I don't know. So those are the power rankings. I will be posting the power rankings in a post on my Facebook page. I would love to know, where do you think is wrong? What do you think needs to be reordered? What do you think needs to be added? What do you think needs to be deleted from the power rankings, from the top movies? I don't know, of the circuit, because my circuit works every 2 weeks or so. I try to give it about 2 weeks to work. So what do you think? I will let her know what you think. I will let her know what movies you've seen, what movies am I overlooking. Hit up the podcast page. Find me on YouTube. Find me. Talk to me. Let me know what you're thinking about some movies. I don't care how random they are. Let me know. I want to know what's out there. I'm going to go finish binging Stranger Things. You'll hear about that on my next episode, my next TV special. It's coming. Keep rotating them. This has been the Novelty Podcast. My name is Terrell Bilal. Thank you for your support. Watch these movies. If you don't watch these movies, my podcast are a waste of time. I'm not even going to lie. You can quit. You got to watch some movies. I'll be watching some movies. Let me know the last movie you went to see. Let me know about the last movie you went to see. I'm curious about that. What was the last one? Did you like it? How'd you feel? My name is Terrell Bilal. It's the Novelty Podcast. Signing out. Till next time. This is the Novelty Podcast.